What's going on, man?
What's up?
I was like really close on that one and really deep. I haven't done this in a while. I'm here with Beau Bullard from just everything, man. What are you today?
Today I'm, so my name is Beau Bullard. I'm with Pioneer Title here in Prescott, where we have offices all over the place in Arizona. About 90 offices almost in the state. And then recently I started Bullard Media Management, which is a social media management business for businesses outside of real estate. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it was like it's a few things. So
it's a few things, yeah.
And I wanted to talk to you. I've been chomping at the bit wanting to have you in here.
Awesome.
Because I just said it a little while ago. I'm gonna break the fourth wall and be like, we were just talking about
We were.
Because I kept on being like, God, wait,
stop.
No, but you and I have a hobby of the social media aspect of things and how that can help business. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it for a while. You've been doing it for a while, and you're getting into the coaching aspect of it. So you're doing more than real estate then. So you're going to do other businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
if interested.
Yeah. Right. So real estate is still my primary.
Right.
And so working with realtors and that type of thing. And then the social media management stuff will be kind of secondary. Restaurant owners, bar owners, coffee shop owners, really anybody who owns a business that wants to strengthen their online presence and or give it all up to, my situation with Bullard Media Management and allow us to run it completely for them. So
okay, which is a good thing. Which I was actually having this conversation because I got a solicitor call this morning. Literally this morning, which I kind of thought was funny, but not in regards because I don't see it this way that you go, you have this company that calls you up and you're like, hey, the funny thing to me is they go, hey, we noticed that you don't really have a social media market. And I was like, what are you looking at? Like, I'm not trying to say there's other people that are doing more active, but I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm active.
I'm
I'm present.
Yep.
But so I was like, cool. So this is your script you're reading. Fine. It's fantastic. But and part of some of the problems that I see is that the companies that do that or whatever, they copy the same 100 agents. They go, cool, here's the recipe for this chicken noodle soup. Yeah. And so you'll just see it just bombarded or market stuff or whatever, but trying to. And I think the personal side of this is what I think is lacking on a lot of people's things.
Right. One big reason I started this was because, you and I are both in the real estate space, and that is a space of a know you, like you, trust you business.
Right.
And so I'm kind of taking that and bringing it over to what I'm doing kind of as my secondary social media management, where the only people I'm going to work with are people who genuinely know me, like me, trust me.
Right.
Right. And how do I do that? You have to show up.
Yep.
And because you can't talk to all the business owners all at once. It's just impossible. And I'm not the kind of person who can do like super freezing cold calls, and say, hey, I'm going to run your social. I know you don't have any idea who I am, but I'm going to charge you this and that. First,
I don't agree with cold calls. Anyways.
Right.
No, there's many agents that do cold calls and stuff like that. And I think, and they do well, they do okay, but it's to me, it takes the personal side out of it.
Right.
I saw somebody the other day that's like, look at the scripts that we read, that we tell everybody. Why would you tell everybody that you're just reading scripts?
Right.
That you have this thing. So you're lying.
Right.
For a lack of a better term, of just kind of going, hey, you're kind of telling them what they want to hear, and it's written down, but getting the personal aspect to it, of getting people to know you. And that's why I've, started doing the YouTube stuff more. And even though I fought it for a little bit, the short form content, and trying to do better. I posted the stupidest one the other day. I was so excited about it though, because my wife bought me a Lego kit.
Oh yeah.
For Christmas.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what? It's like a rainy day, whatever. I'm just going to do it. And I'm like, time lapse. And just did a time lapse of just building and just set it to music and did it. And it,
caught fire.
It did well, and just kind of go, oh, okay, cool. But there's a different aspects to it. But I was two things made me reach out to you to set this up. And, you know, I'm part of different groups on Facebook and stuff like that as far as video production stuff, and especially with agents.
Right. For sure.
You know, there's some, but there was a real estate group. It wasn't even video directed, but somebody was like, hey, asking about video content or whatever. And it was an older agent, not super old, but older agent, and was just went off about how stupid TikTok and short form content. Why are you going to humiliate yourself? To, you know, to sit there and do that. And I go, and it just drove me crazy. And it's been living rent free in my head. For the last, because that is part of honestly why people are hesitating to do it.
Right. 100%.
And we grow up, you know, or we live in a world, you know, thing of people are, you know, oh, don't embarrass yourself.
Right.
And so that took me a little bit. I mean, I did the Tucker and the Beard podcast thing that, you know, helped me with that.
Right.
Because my past career was not not keen on that.
Right.
You know, was not keen on social media, was not keen on self-promotion, I guess. I don't know how to better,
Yeah, but what are you doing when, you know, you're posting your listings or whatever on Facebook? And anyways, continue, and then we can get into it.
Yeah, but no, so it's just, I think that's a big hurdle, but a lot of people don't want to take that hurdle.
Right.
And the world is, well, it's already changed, but the world is continuously changing.
Right.
And, you know, I had somebody talking about flyers the other day.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm not knocking on flyers to mail out flyers, but I could do like a post and like hit the same general vicinity, you know, the same thing.
And for free. Unless you do ads, but
Yeah.
So no, it's interesting to me, you know, like, so the guy that was talking to you, was it a guy? For the guy that was making fun of the short form TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, no, it was like it was a older female person on Facebook that was kind of knocking on it. But there was a couple people that are like, oh, okay. You know, and I think I even told you, and admittedly, of talking about TikTok and stuff like that. Like, first of all, I had downloaded it at one time, you know, the kids got, you know, started, and I'm like, you know, what is this kind of, and I got, you know, when it's algorithm is the word of the day. Yeah. When the algorithm isn't set, it was just a bunch of stuff that I, you know, women dancing, and I'm like, I don't, you know,
bunch of random stuff.
Right. And so I quickly uninstalled it because I was like, I can't figure it out, you know, put my cane down. I was just like, I don't want this. I don't want, you know, that's not the impression I'm trying to give of, or things that I want to look at, but you start setting things. Yeah. And I, in the last year or something like that, we kind of reinstalled it and tried it again, kind of after conversations that we had of, you know, if it's building the machine of trying to, this helps this. Yeah. And it was kind of, and I knew that, but kind of really sitting down and going, okay. Yeah. Like, just, I admit defeat on this one. Like, I'm not trying to be a 16-year-old dancing TikToker. Yeah. You know, but you know, it does help them. This helps this. Oh, helps for sure. The business. So, yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the people that were talking about, you know, short form on TikTok, just short form in general, and about why would you humiliate yourself on these platforms, and why would you do this and that? So I heard this quote at a sales event that I went to a couple months ago, and it's about negativity, and which is what we get a lot of. I get a whole bunch of negativity from friends, family, you know, peers, coworkers, everything about what I'm doing with social media. A lot of positivity as well, but there's negativity. So, you know, this is just something great for everybody to remember, you know, and including myself and you know, when we get negativity, the quote is, negativity is insecurity verbalized. Yeah. Right. Which really resonated with me, because when you have people talking about why would you humiliate yourself, it's not necessarily that that's what they're thinking. It's, you're able to do this type of thing and I'm not, which is not true. 100%. They could do it, but they're choosing not to, because of whatever insecurity that they have about themselves.
Oh, definitely. Well, and I think it's one of those, I heard it, that it's like, no one cares more about what you're doing than you do.
100%.
So everybody that thinks that like everybody cares,
right?
That they don't,
Nobody
or
cares.
Whatever. And I grew up in a household that was very much like, don't, I had an older brother and I was going to high school. Don't embarrass me at the same high school, kind of thing.
100%. Yeah.
So it was always something that was kind of like ingrained. And I think as you kind of get older and stuff, you go, everybody has those things.
Right.
It's not just me that doesn't like getting up in front of the class and like giving a presentation.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing that.
Right.
But yeah, the more you do it and stuff like that, but
more reps,
and so it's, and as I've kind of learned through doing the video stuff of just, and again, going from my job in law enforcement where it was just very, here's your lane, no pun intended.
Right.
Like stay in your lane. Don't,
right.
Don't go outside,
Right.
I actually had people say that.
Lack of creativity with a lot of spaces outside of this, which is what's nice about the video and, which is where I'm sure we'll get into, but what it really comes down to for real estate professionals and for business owners outside of real estate, it comes down to what does your brand look like?
Yep.
Brand.
Yep.
That's it. And we live in 2023, postcards, flyers, I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but there is a reason why a lot of successful agents are just focusing on video at this point.
Yeah. Well, and successful ones are doing video, and not saying that other people that are very stuck in their ways of kind of doing things.
Right.
But when I see that or see comments like, oh, I'm not going to sit there and do that. Listen, I wasn't like playing Facebook detective and going, how much business have they done, or whatever. But I go, listen, how much more could they have done?
Right.
And I've had clients sit there and tell me this, and it's not, I'm not doing a video and people calling me straight out the bait, being like, man, he's awesome. It's the long game.
It is. It's brand.
But it's also content, and people go, oh, I'm seeing you everywhere.
100%.
I've seen you everywhere.
Yep.
And that's kind of that weird light bulb moment, or I had already been doing it for quite some time, but it was that justification. You were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's one thing that I ask all realtors at this point when I'm having a conversation, or if I'm teaching a class, or I'm doing a presentation, or whatever it is, I always ask the same two questions to get the thing started, right? And it's, do you want everybody to know that you're in real estate?
Yeah.
The answer is always yes.
Yep.
Right? The whole room says yes. Okay. Question number 2, what are you doing to accomplish that?
Yeah.
Real genuine question. Let's have a conversation about it. And it's interesting, the answers that I get, it's, I have my listing signs.
Yeah.
That's how people know that I'm a realtor. Okay. That's if you have listings. Yeah. So good. I do flyers.
Which is difficult sometimes too.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if we're talking about a new agent, but let's just talk about your typical agent who does a decent amount of business.
Right.
How do you know that everybody knows that you're a realtor? Or what are you doing to make sure that everybody possible knows that you're a realtor?
Right.
Your sphere, outside of your sphere. This is what's nice about social media, is that you're not just limited to your own SOI, right? You can go outside of that and reach other people's spheres.
Right.
And so, because a lot of times what I hear is an agent is all aggravated because their cousin in the same town bought a house and didn't use them. And I'm like, that is your fault.
Yeah.
That's 100% your fault.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at them. Be mad at yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because they see you on Instagram, but they see you taking pictures and posting things about your dogs and about your travels, which is great.
Which is important. And do you agree with the 80, 20?
100%. 100%.
Like, and it's very, so.
And let's explain the 80-20.
Yeah, the 80-20 is 80% personal, 20% business.
Yep. And there's, and obviously nobody's going to be able to just nail that, perfectly. For me, it's probably 20% personal, 80% business, to be honest. But
it just, for me, it depends.
It does depend. And so I try to make it 50-50. I try to make it, but it usually is that 80-20, 60-40.
I just have that little Jiminy Cricket that like pops up every once in a while. That's like, hey, you've been posting a lot of business stuff.
Right.
Maybe
people need to know who you are.
Maybe you should take a break from that.
No, you like you trust you.
Right.
And how do you accomplish that?
And so it's like, okay, I heard, I was talking to somebody today, another agent that actually unfollowed another agent because it was like every single post was business and how great I am and whatever. And I'm like, first of all, I'm never going to be that, that's like, hey, that's super great, and I have, my ways where I can sit there and be like, hey, cool. I've done well. I've been successful, but I'm not going to do it in a, hey, it's Tuesday and it's super duper trifecta, quadruple, I don't know, whatever.
No, I think, because number one, we have to remember that the consumer, which, is something that I really spend a lot of time thinking about is consumer behavior.
Yep.
Right. And whether that's if I'm working with a restaurant and we're talking about people who like to go out and eat, like what is going to bring them in? What is going to catch their attention? It's not going to be how many awards this restaurant has gotten. How good is their food, and how can we show them that? Right. Now with real estate, nobody cares about you, the realtor.
Right.
Right. Not you, but like
no. But
nobody cares about you and your awards. They do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they really want to know who Edward is.
Right.
Is he married? Does he have kids? Like, what does that look like? Does he have dogs? Does he go travel? Does he like Legos? They want to see all of that type of thing. They really do.
I was like, that's funny. No. But yeah, it's true. And that's why I was like, hey, I'm going to sit there and do it because, hey, what do you do on a day off? And and it's raining outside.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
And it was a fun way of a quick time lapse of Legos being built.
For sure.
But yeah, no, I think that's, I guess that comment had just kind of fueled it of just, this person was just stuck on their hill.
Yeah.
And I see it a lot. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that are just stuck in their ways of not understanding that the times are changing.
Right.
And I've also seen some older agent that tried.
Yeah.
But just as quickly as their first video comes up.
Yep.
It was their first and last.
Right.
One in particular that I'm thinking of, but it was, in the car on the phone, which is great. That's a whole other subject of just, you don't need all this stuff.
Right.
I mean, the new iPhones are
this
insane.
Thing is, I mean,
I don't even have an iPhone. My kids are like, well, let's get iPhones.
We got to convince you.
And I was like, I'm holding on strong. I was like, I like my system.
Yeah.
But, like, hey, I'm going to start doing videos of this and that, and that's the last video.
Right.
It's the first and last, which it is difficult. And, and I don't know if you have system, but I try and go, okay, I'm going to try and post this many times, a week or even have a day, Right. When I was in law enforcement, it's always my joke. When I was in law enforcement, there was me and another officer that tried to help motivate each other. And so we're like, hey, it's Move Over Monday.
Right.
We're going to go out and look for people not moving over.
Yeah.
And then it's, Saturation Saturday. Right. We're going to go out and look for some, DUI drivers. Yeah. Or, Truck Tuesday. Sure. And just tried to
having a system.
Having kind of a system. And so I've kind of tried to start doing that, just, hey, I'm going to post on this day or record on this day.
Right.
And with our job, things move around a lot.
Oh, for sure.
I've had, I'm going to do a video this day. Oh, clients want to look at a house. Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing the video to do. So
the video will wait.
I'll do the video later, but, and just trying to think outside the box and I want to get your opinion on something because it's probably one of the biggest things that bothers me there's nothing that can be done about it. And I guess it's part of the whole big problem. And I kind of touched on it earlier we'll call it copycat.
Yeah.
The copycat syndrome.
Okay.
And it's something that I have to get over because there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
If you have a good idea, people see it's a good idea.
Yep.
And they will emulate. So you just have to. Yep. How I've just kind of grown with it is just continuously trying to get better or do something new or different.
Yep.
To make it that much thing. I always give myself a challenge of doing some kind of, whether it be a special effect or something new.
Right.
In each video. I just started doing Ghost of Kellen. Showing up.
Yeah.
So, he shows up and starts talking or whatever, just something.
Right.
I try and challenge myself to, and it helps me learn a new thing. Oh, it'd be cool if I can, do something like this. Well, I got to learn how to do that.
Right.
But it is something that I really, really struggle with, and doing the the teaching and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, it's people doing it,
right.
But when people see something be successful or that's a good idea, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it does happen, right? And as a matter of fact, if you're familiar with Tom Ferry, right, that's actually a suggestion of his. It's called R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yep.
Right?
I heard it the other day.
Yep.
It pissed me off.
And so here's the thing about this, and here's my opinion on it. Most people, especially in the real estate space, if you look at the content that people are making, the name of the game at this point is just how long can you be consistent?
Right.
Because, you know, you can do something for 2 months, right? That's a really good creative idea. And somebody else is doing it as well, but you stop at 2 months and they continue.
It's like theirs
they
now.
win. They win.
It's theirs now.
And so I will say that I work with a lot of real estate people, and there's not as much ripping off as I think.
Right.
I think sometimes more, I feel like there's more original real content than people think.
Oh, and I agree. So it's not just that, but it's every once in a while you'll see something, and I say me, for example, you know, but I see a lot of other people is kind of bringing it up, you know, so it's not just me, but
no,
you know, you kind of go, they just literally did, you know, but I took a class the other day, you know, went and did, you know, it was like, hey, learn some updates about social media stuff, which wasn't much updating, but it was kind of like a beginner thing. And I was telling you, you know, there's a lot of, you know, some older agents, but some, you know, not even old, but not, you know, I've talked to successful, you know, agents in my brokerage and other people, and then they're just like, you say TikTok or short form content, like you start saying some of the things that we're saying, and the glazed look.
Yeah.
And there's like, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what, and I go, okay, cool. And then you go, all right, like I could help, but then also, am I teaching you to do what I'm doing? And then, you know, so it's just walking that line.
To your point about ripping off and duplicating and this, you know, all these different things about people taking ideas, it's true. And so to your point, it's absolutely, you know, true. The Instagram and TikTok, it's oversaturated with different types of content. You know, one thing that you see all the time at this point is realtors filming themselves. And I think that this is a good thing. Filming themselves and saying, hey guys, if you're a first-time home buyer, here are 3 things that you need to know.
Right.
That's good content, but everybody's doing it, which again, it's good content. And if it works for your sphere, I suggest every agent do that because you're providing value to a certain audience.
Right.
So anybody who is going to be a first-time home buyer, that's going to be great information for them.
Yep.
But now the question is, how do you brand yourself differently?
Right.
Right. And so that has to be something that you decide. I mean, do you have a chicken?
Right. But are you going to have your chicken in all your videos?
Get that chicken involved in some of your videos to where when they see you, they start thinking chicken. Like there was an agent who did do that.
Yeah.
They stopped. I'm telling you, the name of the game at this point, the people who are going to win are the people who never stop.
No,
and that is really challenging for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Including myself.
Oh, I agree. I was like, it came over the holiday season and I was like, I had all the ideas in my head and I was like, okay, cool.
Yep.
And the next thing I know, it was January. And I was like, I got to start kind of
consistency,
getting back at like actually come and like film things and, you know, get this out there.
Right.
And I had also got involved in like a project with Emery Riddle, like video, like, which is kind of like a weird, not like a flip side of what we're doing.
Right.
But it wasn't something I took into consideration. People going, hey, you're pretty skilled at doing these things.
Yeah.
Of doing this video and editing and, you know, putting these videos together for them to be seen. Like, we want you to help with this. Right. And so it's like, okay, cool. But then that you know, so, and getting into the thing of, and kind of going back for a minute, because the title reps or, you know, people like, there are other people following suit. Like it's not, I just told you of, you know, I saw you out there doing it. And then the other day it's like some title rep, like I'm a social media specialist, you know, kind of thing. And you're like, okay, so it's kind of not saying it's repeat. It's just similar, you know, people see.
Yeah. People will start to see something that works and take it, you know, like I think I know maybe in Arizona, in the title space, maybe 2 or 3, including myself, who are all in social, are all in on social, right? Now, there are a lot of title reps who post on social media, you know, and do different things, but are they all in? Are they making video content? Are they making different video content for different platforms?
Right.
Are they really going all in on understanding the algorithms, which not everybody needs to do?
Right.
You know, if you're, like I had this conversation on my podcast yesterday, if you're an older agent and you're looking to retire in the next 5 to 7 years, don't make a single video.
No.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the agents who are in their prime, who are looking to make a real living, to make a real business. And if you're wanting to really do that, you have to be making video. Yeah. Like, and a lot of people hate to hear that.
No, and it's one of those things of like, okay, cool, and do some. I had the best idea for an older agent, like that. I was like, listen, I can't pull this off. This is a retirement community. I can't show up and pull this video idea off.
Yeah.
Here, it's yours. This is your free idea.
Yep.
Go do it.
Yeah.
Not once. I was like, that's gold. I was like, I'm about to get some old makeup on and do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I get 3 objections a lot from realtors. The 3 same objections. Number 1 is I don't know how to do it. Yep. I don't know how to make a reel. And unfortunately, that's when you don't know how to really work this. You don't have to be an expert. I am not whatsoever an expert at social media. I'm not a guru. I don't consider myself that. We were talking about before. I consider myself a student.
Yep.
Right? I consider myself a student. I'm always learning.
Yep. I was like, you and I had just said that, and why we, have these conversations is because we're both students of it.
Like students, we're learning. And
at some point today, I'll be watching a video or listening to something showing different aspects.
Well, like just this morning, I saw a video from Jason Pantana. If anybody's familiar with Jason Pantana, talking about how the owner of Instagram, or what's his name, Mosery. Yeah, so he came out and said that they're going to start pushing photo content again.
Okay.
And so I'm like, all right, now we got to, think about this a little bit. So anyways, number 1 objection is I don't know how.
Right.
And if you're not sure on how to work these things, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, you're extremely vulnerable. Your business is vulnerable, right? And so number 2 is I don't have time, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
Everybody, the busiest agents out there, have 5-10 minutes to make a real quick, like what we were talking about. You don't need a studio. You don't need anything like this. No. You can have your phone and you can set it up and give some value.
Yep.
And number 3 is, Beau, this is not my demographic, right? Prescott is not the demographic for social media.
Yeah. It is.
It's very small. That's a very small mindset to have.
Yeah.
If you're just focusing on people who live in Prescott, you're vulnerable.
Yep. No,
you are. Agree. You want to reach people outside because, what are we seeing so much right now? People coming into Arizona, specifically Prescott area.
Right.
Right. And so if people don't know that you are a real estate specialist in this market, what are you doing?
Right. Well, and it's just, if you're just aiming towards the people that are here, or that's why I was like, listen, flyers have worked. And I know that's like the 3rd time that I've brought that up, but it's like, I know flyers work. I've heard that they are a thing, but in a way I'm like, okay, so you're going after one specific neighborhood that people are selling. It's not looking to buy.
Possibly.
Right. Like
possibly selling.
And so, aiming content towards just, hey, I'm a specialist here in the area, like in this Prescott area, but doing, or, I have the equipment to do it, but I do listing video on every single one of my listings.
Yep.
Every single one of my and I don't need it. I have equipment that I don't need to be able to do it.
Right.
But it makes it, I can do things. I can do things again, and that's why I do this, because I want to be able to do certain things that other people can't.
Plus,
or won't.
An important point is that you didn't start with all of this.
No.
You started by just using what you have, and that's something that I talk about a lot too. Is people, what is it? They don't realize all that they can do with what they already have. Yep. You don't have to go out and buy cameras and buy microphones and buy drones and all of these different things. Take your iPhone, right? Specifically iPhone. Yep. We're in the iPhone game here.
Samsung.
But take your phone, right? Because most of them have really good cameras. Take it and make a video. Again, I bring this up a lot because it's really important at this point. It has to be videos of you.
Yep.
It really does. Now, take the videos of your listings, take the videos of market updates. Just keep in mind, videos of market updates. Nobody cares about your photo of the market update. I'm sorry to all the agents who are doing that, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you.
Yep.
I see what successful agents are doing, and I see what not successful agents are doing who think they're successful.
Right.
Right. And all love to all real estate agents. Yep. Right. I love all of you, but I do get this eagle's eye of what everybody's doing. And I'm telling you, the little stagnant photos of the market updates and stuff.
You're watching the race.
I am. I'm watching it real time. And I'm not hiding anything from realtors. I'm like, this is what's working. Yeah. But the thing is I had taught a class, at the most I did a class was 40 agents.
Okay.
40 agents talked about the importance of social media, talked about how to do it, talked about how to make it real simple.
Sad part is I know where this is going, but go ahead.
I had a list of every single one, right? And there was probably 15 to 20 agents who actually had an Instagram account, right?
Okay.
And if you don't have an Instagram account, you definitely don't have a TikTok account.
Yeah.
Right? Most had Facebook. And so, but I tracked them afterwards. I tracked all 40 afterwards. Not one started making content afterwards, right? Yep. And they may be hearing it from me.
Right.
And they may be like, oh, this guy, he hasn't been in the industry that long, 5 years. I've been doing this for 40. And they just don't believe it. But the reason I do these presentations is I take information from Tom Ferry, from Ryan Serhant, from Gary Vee, all the people who have proven to be successful, and then I share that knowledge with them and say, look, this is what is working. People are like, well, how do I get more business? Especially right now.
Right.
Right? Everybody's like, well, how do I get more business? I'm so slow. Like, nobody's wanting to move.
That's
nobody's
the perfect time
to
to make content.
It's like, okay, I'm telling you what you need to be
Well, it's funny
doing.
because you're talking about the people that are like, I don't have any time to do stuff. And then the following sentence, they go,
I'm so slow.
I'm so slow right now. I have nothing to do. I have not, you know, you go, oh, okay, cool.
And it's
there's your answer. You have time.
You give them the answer and then you say, no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just people have that hard wall that they just don't want to.
Well, it's one word. It's insecurity.
Yep.
What are people going to think of me?
Yep.
I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how, right? Yep. All three of those.
Hit record.
Two out of the three of those I can help you with.
Right.
Right. If you're just flat out against it, if you're flat out against it for personal reasons,
right,
whether it's a religious reason or you have personal family issues going on, that's completely different.
Right.
But if you're just not wanting to do it because you're worried about what Sally Pants 101 account is going to say, that's Gary Vaynerchuk's thing. He's always like, what do you care about what Ricky Pants is going to say? Like, stop.
Yeah.
You're going to get way more positive than you are negative.
And I think I was saying it to somebody one time that was kind of asking why I did it. And I go, listen, if I was to pay you $6,000 to walk into Walmart in your underwear, no, I don't know, just say something like, say, I eat hot air balloons.
Yep.
Like just at the top of your lungs.
Yep.
Would you do it?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, then you're fine.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's, and not saying that, but it's like the possibility of helping business, but also, and kind of touching base on it, like me doing the video stuff, like I can help promote my clients.
Right.
Stuff and help them learn more about where.
Well, so for example, for people like you in a real estate agent position, right? You're getting paid to do a job, which is to promote. Say you're talking about a seller, you're getting paid to promote this listing and to sell it at the highest price that you can for what it's worth, right? Yep. And so, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And that's a real, I've begun to really ask real genuine questions. So how are you going to do that? I'm going to get a photographer in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so, which is all good things, but it's all your traditional things that you would normally do. Right. And so 2023, what if you're able to take multiple videos of the listing, make them fun?
Yeah.
Right. You can make them fun. They don't have to be boring,
but
make them fun. If you're a humorous person, make them humorous. And then do that over and over and over again, because it's doing two things. It's promoting your listing. You're doing your job well. And then it's promoting you.
Yep.
And so, what we were talking about before, which is this personal brand, is personal brand is the only thing that's going to matter for the next 25 years until AI completely takes over and nobody ever talks to each other. Yeah. So 20 years is probably too little a time.
No, but things are constantly changing, and I was going to say this earlier, and this is the most unpopular realtor opinion that I'm about to say. So many realtors hate Zillow. Hate Zillow. Mm-hmm. And I understand why, I get that. But it's the difference of, I don't mind Zillow because, in all honesty, people are at home house shopping.
100%.
House shopping, and they're going. It's a little different from Amazon. The way that the Zillow or Realtor.com is the Amazon of home shopping. So they're going to be home and doing
Zillow,
it.
Realtor.com, all these different places.
Right.
But the thing is what we're talking about is most people have social media, the majority. Yep. But at the same time, most people start their home search on Zillow.
Yep.
On Realtor.com. They go there and they start searching. There's always information on the bottom for who the listing agent is.
Right.
Right. And so, typically the hope is, if you're interested in this property, you're going to contact this person. It's not the case.
Scroll down. That's my PSA. Just scroll down a little bit further. They try and.
No, yeah.
They say contact agent.
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit. If you want to talk to the listing agent, scroll down a little bit further.
Well, but the thing is, though, is that are most people doing that?
Yeah.
The answer is no. The answer is that when they see Edward, when they scroll TikTok or Instagram all day, they see him there. So when they see a property, they're going to call Edward and say, "Hey, I just saw this property on Zillow. Can you help me out with this?"
Yeah.
That's the reality of what's happening.
Because again, I feel I know you.
Right. And that's I know you. And that's your job and that's our job. That's what we're all doing out here is to try to get people, again, we go back to the initial point, know you, like you, trust you.
Yep.
Do consumers know the person on the bottom of that Zillow link?
Yeah.
Do they know Susan C?
Right.
Right? No, they know Edward.
Right.
They don't know Susan, so they're going to contact Edward and say, "Hey, can you show me 525?"
Right. I saw
West
this
Street.
On here because I was shopping, looking at homes in Prescott area, whatever. And because I saw you on this, I just figured I'd contact you about that house or whatever.
And that's why the social media is so important, right? And the reason is because when you have people who are looking to buy or sell, right? Your job and what we're all trying to do again here is get people to know, like, and trust us. How do we do that? Right? How do we do that? And it's easy to say, put content out on Instagram. Right. But we're putting content out on Instagram for people to see us and then for us to prospect. Like a lot of agents don't consider Instagram and TikTok as a prospecting tool. Right. But if you're having real, genuine communication, right, in these apps, in the DMs.
Oh, yeah.
Times are changing.
Oh, they're changing huge. Well, and it's, and I've seen it and no names mentioned, but I've seen the negative aspect of realtors on social media that don't understand it.
Of course. Whether
it be politics, religion,
of course,
whatever, they're posting stuff or just things that go, you know what, that didn't make you look.
Well, you're taking, when you go politics and religion, especially politics.
Yeah.
And you choose a side and you're very clear about that side, right? You're not a real business person.
No.
Because a real business person is not going to cut away 50% of their audience.
Yeah.
Or their customer base. They're just not going to do that.
I see it all the time and I just go, you just kind of cringe. Okay.
If you're, you're okay talking about politics, I'm a supporter of Trump or I'm a supporter of Biden. If you're okay going down that rabbit hole and having everybody see that and then have 50% of your possible customer base say, "I'm not working with you because I have a different opinion."
Right.
Then great, do it.
Right.
But you're not a real business person because real business people don't allow these emotions of politics to control the money that they make.
Yeah. Or just people bashing the area. I've seen that a couple times. Like, "Oh, I can't believe that," and you're just like, is there something wrong with you?
Are you good?
Like, do you understand what, but, no, it's just one of those things of just glad to kind of sit down because it's a student of the times changing and the time, but seeing on multiple occasions, that class that I took the other day, they flat out were just like, if you see something that somebody does and you like that, just, share it or just, redo it.
Right.
Just, and I go, that's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't agree if I word for word kind of
thing, word for word. I think there is something to say about And we're talking about people who are just getting started.
Right.
Right. So I do say this to a lot of agents who are getting started. Like, look, because right in the beginning, you probably don't have a lot of ideas, right? That's why this whole trending thing has become a thing, right? It's just people stealing the same sound over and over and over again, but using it in their niche or in their, space. And so although I don't necessarily fully agree with R&D, which is rip off and duplicate.
It makes sense.
It makes sense for the person who's just trying to get started. Get comfortable. Like, so look at my content, look at Edward's content and say, how can I do like something like that, but put my spin on it? Right. You're stealing what I did, but I probably got some type of inspiration or idea from somebody and made it my own, until you can get to the point where, oh, now I got the creative juices flowing. Right. Now I'm coming up with all my own ideas.
Right. And that's the big thing, because it's a lot of newer agents or, agents that have done this for a while, that it's kind of the biggest thing is you're the difference, so 100%. Somebody can sit there and do another video, but it's not going to be the same because I'm not in it.
Well,
or I'm not saying it or something. They're doing it in a different way. And that's something that I have struggled with in the past, or just whatever. And I think kind of going back to what you had said, there was specific ones that were full blown copying.
Right. Copy paste.
Like, literally just doing the same exact thing. And I really struggled for a while. And it was, my buddy was like, just wait. Mm-hmm. Just wait, because they're not going to be able to. We already have the system set in place. Right. And have the organization of doing it continuously, and didn't fail. Like, didn't last that much longer. True. And I was like, okay, cool.
It's so true. I think if as individuals trying to build a brand, it really is. It's sounds simple, and that aggravates people. Yep. But it really is as simple as, how long can you play this game consistently for? Right. If you can, the person who plays it out the longest and the most consistently is going to win. Yeah. And so my goal, is to try to post a piece of video content every day. Yep. Do I meet that? No. Yep. Like, I fail at that. Yep. But it is,
could be every other day. It could be
right. So if it's something, you have to find out. Anybody who's listening has to find out what is sustainable for them when it comes to consistency. Right. And pick one platform. Right. I used to say I used to be intense about this. Like, get on all the platforms, post every day, or you're going to fail. Right. Which is just too much. Right. Right. So you pick one platform.
New platforms are coming out daily. So there's tons that I'm like, people tell me, and I was like, my plate's already. Yeah. And I am on all, like, I'm not on all, but I'm on the main.
Yeah. I think the main, you have YouTube Shorts. If you want to go long form, go traditional YouTube as well, because you build deep connections there. But for reach, right, for reaching more people that's in our sphere and outside of our sphere of influence, we got TikTok, we have Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn making a comeback. It's not like it's kind of like Facebook rather than just a recruiting app. Right. And so, you have these different platforms, and I used to think, I make a video on Instagram and then just, throw it out there to all the different. I'm not doing that anymore.
No, I think, the way I've kind of done it, I've done some content that I'm like, hey, you know what? That's more this than that. Right. My Lego one was not Facebook, right? Or whatever, because I was like, oh, it's just a short little, funny thing that didn't really match what I was.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's one of my biggest pet peeves with social media is not commenting back.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
so I leave a comment on your post, and you don't comment back. You don't reply to my comment. Okay, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
I get that.
Why? Because of this reason. I send you a text and you don't reply. Yeah, I'm like, he's a jerk.
Right.
Like, that's.
I thought you were calling me out. I was like, did I not comment or something?
Not you.
I was like, you know what's my biggest pet peeve? I was like, dude, you've been waiting for this moment right now. You've been waiting for this exact moment. Like, I was searching the Rolodex. I was going back. I was like, did I not comment on your comment?
No, not you specifically, but like, I'm serious. Like,
thanks for saying happy birthday in July.
No, it is, and not me, but like when I see an account, right, and they'll have 20 comments on there.
Oh yeah, get in there.
And they don't reply to one?
Yeah.
Like, man, you are losing people.
Yeah.
You are losing them.
I commented on the dude that was like, hey, you messed up on this part of the Lego thing. And I was like, yep, I did.
Yep, I did. You know, and because that is so insanely important to be having conversations in the comment section. Like, if you're not going to, first of all, you're not Gary Vaynerchuk.
Right.
You know, not you, but like, no, you're not Gary Vaynerchuk. You're not getting thousands of comments.
Right.
Right? Very little people are getting thousands and thousands of comments. Well, you just can't keep up.
Right.
Right? But for the majority of us who are getting 5 comments, 50 comments,
get in there,
70 comments, right? Get in there and reply to each and every one of those. And here's a little hack. Ready for this? Mm-hmm. Algorithms and everything, whether people say it or not, comments and stuff do matter. Yep. Like, it does matter to boost your content and to boost your account. You know, it is all about watch time.
Yep.
That is number one at this point. So the biggest engagement metric is watch time. So do you have a good hook? Do you have good content in the middle? And then do you have a good ending?
Yep.
But when you have somebody comment and you reply, right, instead of just saying thank you or yeah, that's great, reply with a question.
Okay. Get them to interact.
Then they'll interact twice. So now you turn one comment into 3. So that's that's a good little hack as well, because again, you're just engaging with your community.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I mean, there's so many different lessons. And I think you and I have gone down the rabbit hole.
For sure.
That's what I call it. Like, I was like, hey,
definitely.
This weekend was a bust. I went down a big social media rabbit hole of like going, hey, and being able to spout stuff, you know, with people, but actually them sitting down and doing it. And, you know, I was talking to somebody, you know, I've learned a lot about YouTube and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of overarching, because what affects one affects, you know, a lot of the others. But I was talking to somebody outside of our business, because that doesn't affect me, to help them. Like, doesn't, you know, doesn't push people away from my business or anything. So I was sitting there doing that, and they're going, oh my God, like, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, just trying to, like, it's a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, no, it's nice to kind of sit down with somebody that feeds it too, that, you know, and again, you know, people see studio office and go, what is going on here? And you go, well, it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is a thing. And again, you know, not everybody has to have all the equipment and everything. It really is, at the end of the day, just about getting started. Just hit post.
Yep.
You know, make a video, make it in your camera, on your phone, to where it's just in your camera rolls. So just nobody sees it, right? You see it, you get to look at it, but at the end of the day, hit post on that thing.
Yep.
You know, just start, because
as long as you're not offending somebody,
right?
Which is really easy to do nowadays. But no, I mean, and full blown, you know,
for sure,
offending people or something.
For sure,
like
it's happened to me so many different times. Like, I'm making a lighthearted joke or making some content, a piece of content about, you know, I made this one and just really set people off. It was about how, it was about,
you don't even want to say. I was like, I didn't ask.
It was it was about, you know, how, about dinosaur agents.
Okay.
I didn't say anything to anybody specifically, you know. I was just talking about how dinosaur agents don't understand, you know, when people are making video content stuff.
And I know exactly what you're like, okay, cool. Like,
and then immediately I had people commenting, or one person comment and say, just go off on that.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, dinosaur agents, you know, built this, you know, space and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I have all the respect. I have all the respect for you. Like, I'm not coming after you. I'm just saying it's true.
Right.
Like, it's true. Like, older agents who don't use social media look down upon, like, I mean, how many times have you heard, oh, the millennials are doing this and the millennials are terrible?
If I hear one more person being compared to a like, it drives me freaking crazy. And even my kids do it. And that's why they're like, oh,
it's like
boomers.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what?
It's like, so I say dinosaur, but you have no problem insulting millennials and talking how lazy they are.
Right.
It's like, man.
No, and it's just the way, the world is changing, continues to change and I mean, COVID really kicked that into gear. Right. You know, I was talking with my wife the other day, just restaurants going curbside pickup and online ordering or what just, I mean, every place does. We were shocked because we're like, oh, you know, I think we'll run past this place and like, oh, they have curbside pickup. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think but it just times changing of going, okay, you know, people are adapting and doing this. And I think you and I both agree that the agents, the people that are taking advantage of social media, video, are going to have a leg up, we'll call. Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody has to ask themselves just a very simple question. And this is what I ask myself all the time. You know, whether I'm working on my own personal brand, I ask this to myself every day, or whether I'm asking realtors, helping them with things, or business owners outside of real estate. How are we going to get every single consumer, which is impossible, but every single consumer possible to know about you and your business?
Yep.
Right? How are we going to get everyone to know what you do?
Yep. And you're throwing the net.
Well, let's talk, I mean, seriously. And so it's great because when you have that interview type question with people, you kind of get to the answer.
Yeah.
Right. Without having to come out and say social media, you know, that's because what I used to always do is like social media is it. But now I have to understand, like, not everybody thinks the way that you and I do about social media. So,
and you don't have to. It's just one of those things of kind of going, okay, with my YouTube channel, with all the people are just going, oh, God, you're kind of wasting a lot of time with that or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm
Well, the thing is
setting things in place.
That's why the questions are so important, right? What are you doing to reach more people?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
People, and the big answers are all the traditional answers of real estate from all time, right? Yeah. Phone calls, so cold calling, which can be effective. But again, you're a rock star agent, you're making 50 calls, right, in a day. So great.
Yep.
Door knocking. If you're good, you're reaching 20 houses.
Yep.
Right?
In a day. That's a day.
It's a day of like walking around in the heat or the cold and getting your door slammed in your face. Is it effective? It's proven to be effective, right? So we have to ask, like, how do we get more people to know what we do? And then we get to the point where social media is free.
Yep.
So
and you get to a point where you know, buy new thing or whatever. So that's where the money is. But the thing of just going, hey, mostly it's free to just make a little video and
it's free. And this is another big point of the fact that when you're going to people's doors and when you're going to people's cell phones calling them, right, you're meeting them somewhere where they don't want to meet you.
Yep.
They're at their
already
home.
Behind the 8 ball. Like
you're at their home where they're comfortable and they want to be in their PJs watching football or with their family.
I don't want to talk to you at my door.
They don't want to talk to you. Like they're probably working or like with their kids who are taking naps or whatever it is. Or you're calling them, and everybody in today's world, when they get a call from an unknown number, it's like,
hang up.
Who is this? You know, like, and then if it's somebody they know, then great. But what's nice about social is that you're meeting people where they already are choosing to be.
Yep.
Right. And so if you're showing up in front of them on the feed consistently, and then you see something that they did on a trip to Disneyland and you comment and engage with them, you're building this community now to where people, so it's really a no-brainer. But
well, and I think you've said the thing that I feel to my core, and one of the reasons to do it, of just people getting to know you.
Yep.
And that's something I've always tried to check, you know, with the videos that I've done or whatever. It's just been very like, very personal as far as me, you know, and trying to have fun with it.
Well, it's this, you know, I've really adopted this mindset of document rather than trying to create.
Yep.
Right. So document my life. That's why I started a podcast.
Yep.
I'm having conversations with realtors and business owners all day, every day.
Yeah.
So let's document that now.
Yeah.
Let's have real conversations to provide value to other realtors, buyers, sellers, investors, renters, like all these different people who can get value from this podcast, then chop it all up, put it out on social media, short form.
It's that much more. Yeah.
It's just that much more, you know, and then with your personal life, show people who you are. Again, know you, like you, trust you.
Right.
Build brand, right? So in my stories all over the place, sometimes I'll make a reel or put a photo out, but like the other night, my son has 4 teeth coming in. He has his 2 bottoms and his 2 tops. And I just made a little stories. I did a couple little stories documenting, like I told everybody, like, River really wanted to show you guys this.
Yep.
Like he told me.
Yeah.
You know, we have this communication through our eyes. And he said, like, show people on Instagram about my teeth.
Yeah.
You know, and you just start to, and people,
this is what's going on with me.
Yeah. All the time they ask me, how's that baby?
Yep.
Like you asked me when I came in, like, how's that, you know? So it really is about showing people who you are.
100% agree. 100% agree. Well, how can people get a hold of, is it Bullard Media?
Yeah, so if real estate agents, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm at Beau, the social title rep on Instagram. Business owners outside of real estate, I am on Instagram at bullard.media, or you can reach out to me on my main Beau, the social title rep as well. Love to chat, talk about different details about you and your business. And yeah.
There you go. Right on, man.
So cool. Thanks a lot for having me on, by the way.
No,
this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, this is great. I was like, we're going to sit down and talk anyways. We might as well record it.
I know. Might as well. Content game. We're out here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, till the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.